So this is Longchenpa's Precious Treasury of the Basic Space of Phenomena, translated by Choki Nima, Padma Translation Committee. I think we're still in chapter 9. So let's see what Longchenpa has for us today. Oh yes, so we left it on Longchenpa exhorting everyone to not exert any effort because phenomena are already free. There's no need to do anything about them. So yeah, thank you, Yeshi. Right before this part, he says, do not rely, you can scroll up, do not rely on any fixed construct whatsoever. Let go in evenness. And so now Longchenpa will really attempt to make this point. So Longchenpa says, it is of no concern whether or not all phenomena are timelessly free. It is of no concern whether or not the way of abiding is pure by nature. It is of no concern whether or not mind itself is free of elaboration. It is of no concern whether or not anything has ever existed within the fundamentally unconditioned, genuine state. And why is he saying this? Well, because right before we started reading this, Hunter mentioned analysis. This is an entire section listing all the things that you could possibly be analyzing and pointing out that it does not matter. In this awareness, there is no analysis. Any analysis is just a grasping away from it, trying to figure something out that doesn't need figuring out. So, like we talked about before with resolving confusion, it's not resolved through understanding. It's resolved through seeing the nature of confusion itself, which is just your normal awareness. So let's see some more things you could analyze. Longchenpa says, it's of no concern whether or not samsara and nirvana are by nature a duality. It's of no concern whether or not all thoughts and expressions are transcended. You see, whether they're here or not, whether the mind stream is busy or not. No effect on the awareness. It's of no concern whether or not confused attempts at proof and refutation are demolished. See, is someone wrong on the internet? Is someone wrong on the internet about Dzogchen or your teacher or you? Then you can let that go. You don't have to solve that. It's of no concern whether or not the view to be realized has been realized. Oh, isn't that crazy? You don't even need to know, Longchenpa is saying, the conditioned mind does not need information on whether there is resting in Rigpa, on whether recognition has been realized. How is this fairly obviously true? Well, what would the conditioned mind know about that? What knowledge would it gain? No, Rigpa is awareness, awaring itself. Has nothing to do with this little mind that forms concepts. So in that sense, this conditioned mind does not really develop a certainty about whether or not there is a view. Therefore, just as with confusion, the way to resolve doubt is not by gaining conceptual certainty. You see, it's by seeing the nature of that doubt itself, which is awareness. It's very nice. It's of no concern whether or not you meditate on the ultimate meaning of the true nature of phenomena. Is your meditation bad or good? It's of no concern whether or not you engage in examination, since there is nothing to accept or reject. It's of no concern whether or not the way of abiding has ever existed as the fruition. It's of no concern whether or not you have traversed the paths and levels of realization. It's of no concern whether or not you are free of all obscurations. Easy to understand, right? Already free. Therefore, no conceptual knowledge needed about freedom or not. No need to decide. That's why Garib Dorje didn't list 1,000 different things for you to decide on and understand. He listed one thing. It's of no concern whether or not the development and completion stages perfect your true nature. It's of no concern whether or not the fruition of liberation is attained. No concern whether or not you wander in the 6 states of samsara. No concern whether or not the nature of being is spontaneous presence. No concern whether or not you are bound by dualistic perceptions of affirmation and denial. Well, what does that say? It's the same. Whether you are resting in Rigpa or Ma Rigpa, does conditioned mind need this information? It does not. It's of no concern whether or not you have arrived at the enlightened intent of the true nature of phenomena. And finally, it's of no concern whether or not you follow in the footsteps of masters of the past. No matter what arises, even if heaven and earth change places, there is a bare state of relaxed openness without any underlying basis, without any reference point, nebulous, ephemeral, and evanescent. This is the mode of a lunatic, free of the duality of hope and fear. Isn't that lovely? You see how the mode of the lunatic could be the case? With this conditioned mind having nothing to do with it. Sense itself is left to be in its own place. Reason is left in its own place. It doesn't mean you actually lose reason or lose sense. It means that it's in its own place. So you having nothing to do now with this reason or sense, well, it's essentially coming up as however it does. In any way it presents itself, not affecting you in the slightest one way or the other. Well, if taken from the perspective of conditioned mind, that would be lunacy. But to you, it's just resting. It's just being, letting everything be. Natural placement of whatever is already there. Nothing to do with it, nothing to analyze, nothing to evaluate, nothing to be more or less right than someone about. A great equality. So Longchen continues. With unbiased view and meditation, ordinary consciousness that is caught up in reification collapses. Ordinary consciousness meaning this conditioned mind, this thing that keeps producing objects and makes things to do. Well, it's left with nothing to do anymore. And in fact, it was never doing anything in the first place. These things were all doing themselves. So now, truly sapped of all its energy, well, it's not needed. It's not gotten rid of. It's just left in its own place. And therefore, doesn't bother you anymore. So Longchen says, without the entanglements of wishful thinking, There is no thing to strive for or achieve. So in our meditation, that's basically what we practice, right? Just sitting here openly, or it doesn't have to be sitting. There's nothing special about sitting, of course. We do it out of politeness because it's kind of rude to dance around on camera when everyone else is sitting. One day, dance off meditation. I'm sure Dawe would love it. But for now, it's sitting. So already, what could be achieved in this state? What does it matter whether or not phenomena are there or not? What do you have to do with it? What could you do about it? You, the host of whatever is happening, the space, the energy, it just goes on its own way. Does it self-liberate? Yes. Did you do that? No, that's why it's self-liberation. So it's a very, very kind practice to yourself, very easy. You can let this be and resist the urge to satisfy this conditioned mind and the want for understanding and stories snapping neatly into place. Well, behind all of that is just great rest, real peace. And whatever stories people are invested in are the only thing keeping them from that peace. Maybe it feels so necessary. That's just more stories. So Longchenpa now gives his advice. Real pith instructions. So Longchenpa tells you, let whatever happens, happen. And let whatever manifests, manifest. Let whatever occurs, occur. And let whatever is, be. Let whatever is anything at all, be nothing at all. With your conduct unpredictable, you make the final leap into awareness without the slightest basis for determining what is spiritual or not. And so this bare state with no reference point is beyond the cage of philosophy. The cage of philosophy. Indeed. Whether eating, moving around, lying down, or sitting, we could add or dancing, standing on your head. Day and night, you rest in infinite evenness, so that you experience the true nature of phenomena as their equalness. You see, this need to understand phenomena is actually producing misunderstandings about phenomena. It's not seeing what they really are because it can't see that. It produces what seems to be a feeling of understanding, a story of understanding, which is just another belief. You believe that some feeling of understanding has arisen and are satisfied with that. But that isn't what the phenomena are. It's just more conditioned mind beliefs. So you actually experience the true nature of phenomena, and then you know phenomena. You really see them for what they are. Longchenpa says, there are then no gods to worship, no demons to exercise, nothing to cultivate in meditation. This is the completely ordinary state. With this single state of evenness, the uncontrived ruler that has no pride, there is oneness, a relaxed and unstructured openness. How delightful! Things are timelessly ensured without having to be done. and being free of effort and achievement, you are content. That's lovely. I think we might end it there. It's a nice place to end it on. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope Longchenpa coming with, honestly, all this emotion, really wanting you to get this, has made an impression. Yeah, Temis is amazing. It really is. That is real pith instruction. And we can still have fun analyzing. You know, we can still talk about concepts. There's nothing inherently wrong with them. They're just left in their own place. They're not taken for more than they are. You can play, you know, if you want to. All right, so any final comments, questions, sharings? I always feel very happy reading Longchenpa. So thank you for letting me do that. It's very nice of you. All right, well, let's end here then. So in this presence, there are many beings suffering, confused, wandering. Any merit we may have generated here today, let's remember them, be with them, and give all the merit to them in a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone.